I'm Charlotte, Head of Teaching and Learning at Debut Training Academy.
And I'm Danni Gore. I am Head of Aesthetics at Debut as well.
So I have the chance today to speak to Danni and ask her lots of questions about the aesthetics industry. And I know there's lots of changes and that's making everyone feel a little bit nervous about what's ahead. But Danni's here to answer any questions that we have and make us feel a little bit more calmer about what steps are ahead.
Okay, so first thing about the is like the new legislation that's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously there's been talk about that for years, hasn't there? There's always been this medic talk. But this year it's all coming into place. It was passed in government last year, so yeah, it's caused a lot of nervous energy, I would say, in our industry, and something I'm getting asked a lot of the time is how, are they going to stop non-medics from practicing? That's not actually what they're trying to do. They're trying to standardise a qualification to make us all on the same level. So there'll be none of this medic talk anymore. I welcome it. I think it will make the industry safer, and it'll be great to be the same level. So there won't
be any differences in what being delivered. And why do you think non-medics have got such a bad reputation?
Well, I think there's problems across the board. I don't think it's medics and non-medics. I mean, I was once trained by a really bad doctor, and the way he taught me to do lips, I was so embarrassed by some of the lips that he was knocking out that day that I was thinking I would like to dissolve them once he's gone. But that was about 10 years ago, and I didn't practice lips after that. I went and trained properly a few years later, but I actually thought, you look up to these people. So that's just an example anyway, but I think that it's, there's a lot of bad training out there, and it's not necessarily always down to the practitioner. They're practicing how they've been taught. So I just think with the way everything is, non-medics get the blame for everything, but it's not always non-medics. Like a nurse could go to a training academy and get taught really badly how to do Botox or filler, and then she'd go out and practice it. It just seems that non-medics get the rap for it.
Yeah, definitely. So the impact this is going to have on the industry as a whole, what do you think is going to be happening?
So when the new, when the legislation does come into play, which was aimed for March this year, and it is all still planned to go ahead for March, and actually it's already started in Wales, so we can actually look at what's happening in Wales for what's to come. I think, I just think in general it's going to make the place, make our industry a lot safer. It's going to, weed out any of this bad practice, any bad training. Excuse me, I've talked too much. There's people out there, and I know, that haven't been in the industry long enough, and then they'll go and call themselves a trainer. And so unfortunately everybody that they may be training is then going around not practicing in safe practice, but best practice. So it can only be a good thing if the industry is regulated, and we're all using good products, being really good at retraining as well, because this are procedures, they're changing all the time. So people have to be committed to retraining, carrying on with CPD hours, things like that.
And it isn't cheap, is it?
No, it's not cheap, but
why is that? There's a reason, and I think you should touch on that.
So some prices out there as well, just while we're talking about cost. So my prices, I would say, are average for where we are. They're not cheap, but on that botch programme the other day, like somebody said, I went for Botox and it was £80. Now, you must know as a client, £80 Botox, it costs much more than that to buy. Then you have your prescription fees. It's not... if you're... So that there are unregulated products on the market. which obviously the programme showed. But you know, you've got a duty of care to yourself as well. Surely you know.
Yeah,
Botox,
there's some things you know you can cut corners.
That's not.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, you know, your prices should reflect your training, and mine definitely do. Like I say to my students, if you do a lip filler procedure, so I'll see some people that say like, oh, lips on offer £80. Now that's not quick money, because you're then going away. Say you've done someone's lips tonight. We've just had a client in. Now tomorrow morning my phone could ring. There could be a vascular compromise like that. We've not recognised at the time, or indirect pressure on a blood vessel or anything. And you're on call. You need to see that person. You can't just get on with your day.
Yeah.
So it's not. You know, it's something. It's a real serious job, and it's not just easy money. So your prices, you know, should be reflecting your training. And a lot of my income, every January I'll go and spend thousands on, you know, when we're all quiet, because everyone gets everything done for Christmas.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
So when I'm quiet, then I'll go and spend, like, I spend thousands every year on training. I might refresh on something I've already done, or introduce something new to the clinic. But
yeah, definitely. What I want to ask is, Danni actually teaches at Debut Academy, and she teaches the aesthetics course Pathways.
Yeah.
And she does really well at this. So I want to go through what you teach, the complications, because that's a unit that maybe not everyone does, and it's very important.
Yeah, well, everybody should do it, but we have been getting a lot of students calling saying, oh, can we join on the complications bit? And like, that begs the question, where have you done fillers? They shouldn't. Nobody should be practicing filler without complications qualification. So this is, like we were just talking about, vascular compromise. Complications due to fillers are very serious. Like, you can cause necrosis of the skin, which is like death of the tissues.
Right. Okay.
So you need to be trained in the enzyme hyalase, how to use that. This is a prescription medication, but you would have it in your emergency kit. And saying that, then you've got to be EpiPen trained. You know, there's a lot that goes into it, and like all your first aid and you know, your basic life support. You need all that training. It's so serious, so important, because I mean, you've got to be having the worst day at the office if this ever happened. But if just for example, you've done somebody's lip filler, you've caused a vascular occlusion or some type of compromise, and then you deal with that, we are insured to reverse the procedure without, you know, in that case, because it's a prescription only medicine. There's a lot of talk about prescriptions at the moment, but in case of an emergency dissolve, you can use it out of your emergency kit. So for example, if you then use the hyalase and then they've gone into anaphylactic shock, for example, and you've not got a EpiPen, you're not EpiPen trained, whatever, you know, there's a lot of things that go into it that you need to have as a backup. So yeah, I think that's one of the most important things you can learn doing this job.
And I think a lot of our listeners tonight would want to know the level 5 and the level 7. So can we go into a bit of the level 5 and what's involved in that, and what that means for someone that who is in the industry now but hasn't got that level 5?
Yeah, so that's like what's happening, isn't it? There's a lot of people frightened. Are they going to lose their job? You know, they've got a successful clinic.
And why to get back into education and training again, or learning that whole theory side and writing assignments?
Yeah, and definitely that was one of the things I struggled with, because I'm a very hands-on learner. And the level 5, which I am pleased to say that I've finished, and I'm working towards my level 7, it was a lot of theory, more theory than I had imagined. And although when I first looked at it, it's a lot about the morphology of the face, which I found really interesting. I thought, well, I won't struggle with that, that'll be fine. The chemical peels, microneedling, the health and safety, you know, I thought, well, we've been talking about health and safety for years and years, it's all the same. But it's not that, it's the putting it down on paper and the essay writing, it's degree level really. So, you know, it's a lot of work, but if you're committed and, you know, you are running a successful clinic, you need to now be thinking, to put aside some time and
to get it done.
Yeah,
and
if you're like me, you know, you're not great at essays and things like that. You know, the level 4 that you tell us about the level 4
Yes,
that
so we've got an advanced, at Debut Academy, we've got an advanced beauty course, and that goes into a lot of the units that you're going to find in the level 5, and that's going to give you the foundation. So this is a certificate in level 4 advanced beauty. Now on this course, it is very theory based, it's all assignments, but it's really going to give you the foundations of knowledge and skills to complete this qualification, which I think is really important when you're going straight into level 5.
Well, I think if I wish I'd have known that before I'd have done mine, because although I am level 4, because you can have different units, can't you? Like your micropigmentation or laser, things like that. Like I've probably got most of the optional prerequisites, but or you can have like your injectables for 3 years. But had I have known, I probably would have gone and done that one, the level 4, to get me back into essay writing. And then can you kind of put
so
that?
You can, this will give you the foundations. So I think if anyone hasn't been in education for a little while or does struggle with assignments, level 4 is the one to go for, because you've got an aging unit in there which will give you all of the knowledge ready to pass on to the level 5. And when you devise that assignment at level 4 and complete it, that will give you the head start of what you need to then improve for the level 5.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. I think if people have got the opportunity to do that, that would, I mean, there will be some people that can go straight on to level 5 and breeze it, but I wasn't one. I really needed a bit of
and
a
I
push.
think there's a lot of people who are like you, Danny, who we're very good practically, aren't we? A lot of therapists, practitioners, but trying to get what we have in our head on paper can be challenging.
Yeah, to that level, you know, that level of essay writing.
Yeah, definitely.
That was unexpected.
I know. But I don't think it's going to be as daunting if you do your level 4 and then go straight on to level 5, because you've got
definitely.
that, you're getting in the flow of things.
Yeah, so it's a good option anyway.
100%.
Definitely a good option.
So with the botched, what do you feel? Because I know there's Safe Face on there.
So that programme that was on, I've had so many messages about it. Like I was out and everyone's saying, "Oh, are you watching this programme?" I actually wasn't. I don't have much interest in these kinds of things. Obviously, I keep my eye on, like, you know, the legislation and what's being passed and all the actual facts of things. But there was a programme on a few years ago similar to this, and it's like Save Face. What we have to remember, and don't get me wrong, a lot of the points that was made on there, I'm not saying they're not true, like, but there was, you know, that lady that I was saying for £80 gone for Botox, you know. So they're bashing non-medics a lot. Save Face do that a lot, because what they are is a voluntary register for medics. Right, so it's in their interest, you know, and then they'll get a lot of medics that want to sign up with them. It's like £1,200 a year. So by doing things like that, it obviously, and there are a lot of bad practitioners at the moment, but it's medics and non-medics, you know. It's not to say
just non-medics,
and you know, that's why I'm welcoming all these changes. It's going to, you know, really tidy it all up. But as I say, Save Face, they're just all for medics, and, you know, they're not really fair across the board, if you like. So I
nice. So if you have got learners that, or even our listeners today, we are starting our level 4 and 5, aren't we? So that's something they can start doing.
Yeah. So a lot of my old pathway learners are have already gone on to do their level 4, or definitely going to sign up to that. And I've got a lot of people interested in the level 5, but we was putting a little plan in place, wasn't we? So we didn't want to just say, oh, right, okay, everyone sign up for their level 5. We wanted, from my experience,
that standard of quality.
We wanted to. So I was telling you what I was struggling with, and what I think we could put in place. Well, what you think we could put in place to help any of my other learners who are the same as me.
I think,
so
go on.
Now that we've got like a little plan in place, we can start to enrol them. I think we're going to be going out 1st of March. For level 5.
And what we can do is leave the link in the chat below, so you'll be able to link on and find some information on that.
So we've got a bit of and we can email it out as well, like
definitely.
a flow chart of like qualifications that you may have, and if you haven't, what you can do next, like to get to your level 5. Because something that we should say is important, that the government's not going to come in at any point soon and go, right, you're not level 5, you can't practice anymore. That's not what's going to happen. They're going to say, right, this is coming this date, and we want to see that you're working towards this. So if you're not ready to go straight on to level 5, but you're on a level 4, you're working towards a level 5.
Yeah.
So eventually, you know, we'll all be working towards and will be level 7. Give me a year.
That's going to be hard. We can do another Q&A for that, Danny. For that one. And a big glass of wine. So I feel like some of the things as well that like listeners or things that I've heard our learners want to know is, for the level 7, how hard do you think that's going to be? Because I think they're getting around their heads maybe doing level 5. It's the level 7. So what would you say with you know, working on it, working towards it? What sort of things could they...
Well, I would say that when I first started the level 5, I thought, my God, I'm getting a new job and I'm not doing this level 7. But then, you know, that seemed impossible then. I've done that. And now I think, right, straight back on the horse. I'm going to, whilst my brain's engaged, you know, some people haven't studied for a long time. And I do study a lot, but not to that level. I think, obviously, I can answer that question a little bit more. We'll do some more of these little webinars.
Yeah.
I do think that it'll be quite hard. They're saying, so say you're level 5 was like degree level, they're saying that level 7 is master's level. So it's not so much the practical and things, because that's about injectables. It's the theory side, so it's like the Harvard referencing and things like that.
And I think that's what you find as you start moving up higher qualifications. It's a theory, and that's what we're finding challenging, isn't it?
Yeah.
Getting that theory in.
Yeah, but you know, you're going to be involved in a lot of our teaching. So I think with you, and you're great at the theory side, I'm great at the practical.
Yeah.
I think with our little team that we've got here, that we can put in place the support that people need, and we'll all get there together.
I think that's what we're going to do at Debut. We're going to make sure that there is that one-to-one lessons that you could have. We're going to make sure that there is some sessions to help you get that assignment done if you're stuck. Danny's always at hand, aren't you? Yeah,
we're going to do like Zoom sessions and things as well, because it is a lot of home learning. It's because the way I would suppose most university work, you know, you go in, you have your lectures, you go home, don't you? I suppose it's the same thing.
But the manuals are amazing, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
You can take your manuals home, and you've got lots of midnight reading, but it will really help support you in that assignment and really making sure you're getting that knowledge within and the criteria that you need, really. Yeah,
it's and it is so interesting. Like I did think when I looked at the level 5. Well, I've done it all. I've done chemical peel, I've done microneedling. Like, you've got that kind of attitude, been doing that years.
Yeah.
But then when you open that manual and you're like, oh my God, it is so interesting. It's so much more in depth.
Yeah. And the manuals are really good. So you'll be going away with some great training and some great resources to take away with you. So me and Danny are finishing now, so I feel like we've done some more questions. If you need any more questions, we're going to do a Q&A, aren't we?
Yeah. So we'll post the video, and then everyone can
let us know.
If we missed anything that you really want to know about, then please let us know, and we can answer them all next week.
And then Danny will do a live Q&A for you as well. So thank you for listening.
Thank you.
And see you soon.
Have a good weekend.